When we started our new boat, the Whitehall gig, we first used the plans from Mike McAvoy, and we got pieces of wood that are from like the Amazon, I believe, and we took the measurements from the plans and scaled it onto the wood.
Roll tight, right? Just take a pat down one side or the other. Just those hands away, far away. Thank you. Well, Mike is the guy to talk about Whitehall design, but my sort of 15-second explanation of the Whitehall is that in the old days, when you wanted to move stuff around the harbor, you built a big, wide, fat boat that would hold a lot of stuff. But then in the 19th century, Americans started to get interested in things that, in smaller cargoes, and even really in a cargo that didn't weigh anything at all, which was information. If you could get your small cargo or your information from A to B faster than the other guy, you won. And an example would be a journalist. A ship comes in from London, which has all the news of Europe. You've got boats lined up here waiting to take people out to that ship. The first boat that gets there is going to get the story and get back. To me, the Whitehall is that it's a very narrow, fine design. It's made for speed, but it has enough reserve buoyancy on the edges so that it won't flip or roll. And that's the explanation for that beautiful wine glass transom, or as Emily calls it, the onion transom, is that, the garlic transom, is that it's very narrow at the waterline, so it's fast, but if you get hit by a wave or something comes from behind and tries to swamp you, there's all this reserve buoyancy up high. So, why is it called Whitehall? Apparently these boats were built on Whitehall Street, which was the main launch from lower Manhattan, and that name stuck.
Its name is Whitehall. I know that's the stop that I get off on the train.
The reason I designed the Whitehall gig the way it is that it was a boat that was native to New York Harbor and had been built in fairly large numbers in the 19th century, right up until the middle of the century. And so it was appropriate for New York waters. Also a fairly fast and seaworthy boat that could carry 4 people rowing with someone steering, a cox, as they say. And was basically a boat that was native to these waters, and it fit the waters and has worked out very well, I think, over the years. Again, some of this shape I think might go back to Viking times. If you look at how a Viking boat was built, they didn't have a flat transom. Both ends were pointed. But a lot of the shape that you see in these gigs, I think, came from the Vikings into England. They originated this gig concept, and then we stole a lot of that technology, or people emigrated to New York City with these ideas, with these plans in their head. A lot of immigration of the ideas. New York was then as now the melting pot of the universe, and everybody came in and contributed.
In the latter part of the 19th century into the 20th century, I know from photographs what all of this, photographs and paintings, what all this looked like. It looked so vastly different because of, if nothing else, all the architecture is different. The docks are all different. The vessels are all different. You see forest of masts running from one end of lower Manhattan all the way up for quite a distance up here. One ship like this after another, all squeezed together. You see lots of small sailing vessels everywhere in any photo or painting you look at. Wavertree was originally built to carry large amounts of cargo back in the 1880s. She carried cargo for 25 years, was heavily damaged in a passage around Cape Horn, was written off as unserviceable as a sailing vessel. The museum was trying to find a square rig ship to take on as a project to restore, and she was moved up to New York in 1970 to become part of the museum and to be the major restoration project at the time. One of the things that we're doing is we're trying to complete the decoration of the ship as she would have been in the period that we're restoring her to. Well, the big ones like this, their primary job is not to be in port. Their job is to be zooming across the world somewhere. The smaller vessels, the Whitehall was for rowing around the perimeter in the harbor, maybe from one vessel to another. The size and the shape and the propulsion all determine the function of a vessel and their best use.
Well, New York Harbor is a good harbor because it's sheltered, but it's quite large. So it's not open water, but you're going to run into conditions, wind and waves. So it has to be of a certain size, of a certain design, and of course you have to remember it wasn't until the late 1800s that we had any bridges. So people and goods had to be moved around the harbor, and before the mid-1800s, there was no engines to power them, so they all had to be either wind or human powered. So the vessel is designed to move rather easily under oar power, but also be seaworthy enough to take the waves and to be able to not get blown around by the wind.
Building the Whitehall gig, I learned to do a lot of math, because building a boat you need to learn a lot of measuring and scaling and stuff.
Some of the things that took the longest were to measure the shape of the plank at each position on the frame as you go up. There's 7 of them, and they're really hard to transfer a flat shape from a piece of plywood into the curved shape of the hull. Okay, so at every station, you are going to take your compass, and let's just have a demonstration of that right now, okay? So let's demonstrate on frame number 1. Who wants to show us the technique here?
And then you need to cut the pieces of wood out. You can use machines like bandsaws and jigsaws and stuff like that.
You can also, if you're not getting enough force, you can push the vegetable.
And then to put the woods together, we use this thing called peanut butter.
So we're mixing a hardener over here. Take a couple of this, a little bit of that, and then we're mixing it, and then we're gonna add wood chips. Stir, 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 stir. Yeah, watch all this peanut butter be made.
We have to sand and plane the wood so it'll be perfect when we put it onto the frame.
I'm right now planing this plank down because when we apply this to the boat, we want it to be nice and flat so that when we apply the next plank on top of it, it'll sit better, look nicer, and when the crew members, in case they actually feel it, feels a lot smoother.
Before this, I had to modify, trim it down so it could fit the boat better. Now I'm just rounding out the edges, because once all the edges of all the planks are rounded out, it'll fit together perfectly like a puzzle piece, and it just helps protect from water leakage.
Alright, here we go. So your first screw is going to do this.
I am currently painting this side of the boat. We're combining 2 mixtures of this epoxy and hardener. So that way, when combined together, it acts like glue, like really sturdy glue.
The guy who taught me how to do this said that anybody who could spread peanut butter on a cracker could build a boat.
Let's put epoxy on it so then we can glue it onto the boat to get the 3rd layer of planks on.
Good?
I'm learning how to build boats. How many people can say I know how to do that?
So the point of this boat, like all the boats that I make, is to increase public access to the harbor, to get more people out on the harbor, because it's public water And if people don't use it, then it will become less and less public. So that's the end goal of this boat, for me. I don't know about for you. Your end goal is probably just to like...
My end goal is to make sure it floats.
Alright, we're a little over 1/3 of the way done. We're doing the starboard side plank. So from stern all the way to bow, we're gonna do one whole plank, which is technically 3 different planks, but we're gonna make it into one. And we should be completely finished with the boat 8 weeks. So maybe end school.
First it would just be bland and boring, but then we're gonna have to put paint on it and we're gonna have to fix everything around it, which would be really cool. And the outcome, you have a boat, rowboat, looks pretty cool. Let's build another one.
Well, which one hurts your butt more?
I think it's like you add the epoxy, then the other layer sticks to the epoxy so it doesn't come off, and then it's like a double layer of goodies.
This is a little bit wide. Let me see if I can screw that in a little harder. Where is the screw gun?
I like the basic parts and the step-by-step process. I like that. I like being able to say that I made this out of scratch. I feel really accomplished by that.
So I already did this one here. See? You did a top? I did this one. I did this one.
It's just satisfying and fun at the same time. Seeing the difference between what you did like maybe a few months ago to what you built now, that's kind of like, wow, I can't believe I just did that, you know?
Because someone said they don't like salty water. I don't like it. Don't say that in front of him.
I don't like it, but I wouldn't tell that to Aaron.
We built boats before. We built Diablo Grande. Those are the name of the plans that we used. And now the school uses that. You know, we go zippy zoop around. We use it. The Stephenson Pope. It's this beautiful boat. It's still got a couple of kinks that we have to work out. I.e., it doesn't float. But we're working on it. This one, the rowers are going to love it, I think. They're going to have their own boat. And we're going to be able to say, you know, it's like cooking, right? It's like making pancakes. You can go to a restaurant and order pancakes and they'll come out and they'll be fluffy and perfect and they'll look the same. Or you can make pancakes at home and it's like they taste better because you did it yourself.
I work closely with my friends on this boat, and I just have confidence. Like for me, that's not even a question. I like 100%. I know this is definitely gonna float, and I know it.
Okay, now let's lay it down here, right on this plank.
Don't need to flip it.
The only part of school I look forward to is boat building.
I think a lot of what students get out of boat building is the ability to organize or to think organizationally and to plan things in sequence. That seems valuable.
There's this big project and I need to come back and I need to help these people work on it so that the boat can get finished. That goes back to finishing the boat on time, right? A lot of finishing the boat on time is whether or not people show up. Because if you don't have enough people there to put on a plank, you can't put on the plank.
Keel, frames, and planks. And we got 5.5 of the 7 planks done. The skin is almost on, the body is almost complete. And we I'm not going to make any promises, we should be able to finish it in the first few weeks of the fall.
Hopefully by the time I'm a senior. If not, hopefully by the time I graduate. And I think that's my hope, is to see it in the water while I'm still in the school.
So it's really nice to get a group of kids from different CTEs together, different parts of the school together, who don't normally hang out or do stuff together, and they work together. That's good for the school to have these kind of, cross-divisional connections being made.
What interests me the most about boat building is getting to work with the underclassmen and getting to work with people in the in the CT currently and teaching the underclassmen what I know and getting to learn from the people in the CT MST, because I find myself in this middle ground where I know some stuff that I can pass on, but I also don't know everything that I could. And coming here and getting all these different viewpoints and different people with different experiences and getting to work and learn together is something that's really interesting and really unique.
I have to admit, I get a big kick out of it. It's pretty enjoyable. The kids do such a great job and bring such tremendous vitality to what they're doing. I certainly don't expect everybody who's built one to be a boat builder, go on to be a boat builder. I'm hoping they go on to all kinds of careers. And as the old saying goes, you never seem to end up working in the field that you studied for, that your education is. So building these boats, it may seem a little bit not related to the modern world, but at the same time, building something solid and real, I think is a great learning experience.
The other thing I think they get is just a break from books, from reading and writing, from checking boxes or filling out forms, and they're really just working with their hands. And so, you know, if they can work for a couple of hours and focus specifically on the thing that they're doing, I think it's really relaxing and really a welcome break. So maybe, and you know, for some people anyway, it's just kind of therapy.
I said to myself that I'm only gonna build this boat, but then after we were done building the Stephen Pope, I heard we were gonna build another boat, a Whitehall gig, and I thought to myself, you know what, I'm just gonna stay in it because it was fun.
I like the people that I'm working with, and I like the work that we do here. I like getting my hands dirty and putting in work and stuff.
I don't know, I feel like they need me. Like not just me personally, I'm not trying to be vain. Although I have been doing it for a while, so I sort of know what I'm doing, right? And it's good to show the newer people what they need to know. But they need somebody, and if I don't show up, maybe nobody else will.
Letting every student have the chance to work hands-on and getting to work with something like this gives them the chance to explore how they learn and explore the world around them, and gives them this chance to find out who they are. So even if not, even just offering students to be able to go into a classroom and go into a shop and do one-day boat building can help them in the long run, because now they know, oh, I might not be the best at taking a test, but I know that I can I can put together the hull of a boat faster than you could name the parts of a boat.
What do you think? How do you like our progress?
Yeah, I really like it.
You guys, Eric put a lot of time into this boat and even more into the sailboat.
It really matters that young people participate in projects where they're able to practice their teamwork, where they're able to practice their problem-solving skills, and they are able to produce a tangible product at the end. And what's so great about boat building is it offers all those things, but it also offers a connection to an amazing historical heritage of the development of boats and marine vessels and industry in all around the coastline of this country and other parts of the world, but particularly here in New York City. Also, perhaps even more importantly, young people have a right to have access to the jobs that are here in the third largest commercial port in the entire United States.
I enjoy just building the boats and like helping out. Like maybe in the future I could build a boat too and drive it myself.